Showed me my kneecap. See how that looks like a beautiful meniscus?
Yeah.
That really doesn't,
Well, chunky, huh?
yeah. This folder, and then that's it.
Did
All
you,
kinds of fun stuff.
did you already get it?
I did, he's not, he's booking out till like April,
Oh, yeah.
so. Mother work and everything.
Yeah, they're supposed to get me in like 2 weeks ago, but I was sick, so they were like, well. We gotta think about
Yeah. Vicky said they're booking out till the end of April.
What's up, gang?
Howdy.
All right, guys. Let's do it. Let me just check off people. Are you sure?
Sorry. So was that, go for a walk, I'm like that. What is that?
All right, gang, let's do it. We're gonna start with marching hippos. Marching hippos. We are gonna go 40 seconds. So on our backs. Knees bent on our backs, one leg up off the floor. You can either have the knee bent off the floor. You can have the leg straight where you're trying to heel to the ceiling. If you want to, you can cross the leg. I don't like doing it this way, but some people do. We're going 40 seconds, 20 seconds each side. Pick one side, 3, 2, 1, go. Just driving up and down. Focusing on trying to get that muscle as tight as possible. Switch sides. Jockeying. Keep going. 5 seconds. Right. All right, guys, we're gonna go belly down. I'm gonna go arms out. So palms down. Hands are in line with my shoulders. So make it like a T. Yeah, right. Okay, so from this position, I'm gonna bend my left elbow, slide my left hand towards my torso, and push my left foot over onto the floor. Then I'm gonna straighten my left hand. I'm gonna bring my right hand to my torso by bending my elbow. Right hand goes to the floor. 7 each side. Seven alternating scorpions. Or as my Spanish friends say, El Scorpion.
There we go.
done.
Once you guys hit 7 each. We're gonna go, butt as close to the heels as possible. So like child's pose, generally, if you bring big toes together and push these out kind of like a V, you can get your butt a little bit closer to your heels, but I want butt as close to heels as possible. Forearms are on the floor, we're gonna do reach, roll, lift. And we're gonna alternate sides, so I'm gonna reach my right hand forward. I'm gonna roll my palm to the ceiling, trying to keep my elbow locked. And then lift my whole arm up off the floor, keep my elbow locked, and then I push side. 7. Alternate sides, reach, arm straight, elbow locked, roll the palm up to the ceiling. Keeping that elbow locked, lift the arm up, and then back down, alternate sides. 7 each side. Throw you guys off there with all odd numbers. 7, 9, 11, 13, that's with you. Seven each side. Once you guys get 7 each side, we're gonna go to our quadruped position. So on all fours. We're gonna go into a short down dog, and then we're gonna do a couple heel raises or calf raises in that position. So I'm gonna push my butt up. I'm gonna hold this position, I'm gonna drive heels as far away from the ground, even coming up with my tippy toes. And then I'm gonna pull heels to floor. Okay, so up onto the tippy toes, and then pull heels to floor. 9. Don't go down in between each one. And heels probably will not touch the floor. Now, once you guys get those done, let me get you to stand up, please. All right, again, we're gonna finish our ramp with some lateral. With some lateral lunges, so legs wide. And actually we'll do lateral squats. We're just gonna rock side to side. 7 each side. Get my tunes back. Once you guys get those 7, with some self-love. So once you get 7 each, we're gonna go feet together. Toe touch. So we've got 3 minutes of self-love. So push the hips back. Exhale. Then let the head of the spine round. When you go to stand up, push your hips forward. You got about 4 of these for about 30 seconds. I want you to push your butt back. Then drive the hips forward. So about 30 seconds. After you get those done, we're gonna go for a deep squats. If you have knee pain, I only want you squatting down as low as you feel comfortable squatting down. No knee pain, I want you squatting down as low as possible. keeping your head and chest up, even if your heels come up off the floor, that's fine, as long as there's no knee pain. You can rock side to side in that position. I like to hold on to something, just let me counterbalance a little bit, but I want your head and chest up. I'd much rather your heels come up off the floor with head and chest up than heels on the floor and you're looking down between your toes. So about 4 squats or 4 each side back and forth. Once you get your deep squats done, about 30 seconds. We're gonna go into our arms overhead, so on our back, elbows locked. You can also do this against the wall. You can use a foam roller, you can do this standing. This is just happens to be the easiest way. So elbows locked, biceps close to torso, and just bringing the hands up over top of the head. Keeping those elbows locked, keeping the biceps as close to your torso as possible. 30 seconds. Next one, quadruped spinal waves. So quadruped position, hands in contact, ground fingers spread. I'm going to push my hands into the floor. I'm going to round through my upper back. And then arch. Same idea, about 30 seconds. I want you really focusing on what's happening through the shoulder blades. And then last series, our wrist series. So palms down, fingertips away, rocking forward and backward. And we're going to go palms up, fingertips towards us, forward and backward. And then last one, palms down, fingertips towards us, forward and back. All right, guys. Day 2, phase 2, week uno. By the way, you can't put a draw 2 on top of a draw 2, according to the official Uno Association. True story. In case you guys were wondering, I feel like Davio, Keith, you're probably one of those people. Oh, I see you played a yellow draw 2. Well, here's a red draw 2 on top of your yellow draw 2. Illegal!
It's good to know. Pilot.
Saw that shit on TikTok. Got me screwed. Just like TV was in the 80s, everything you see on TikTok is true. Okay. So we got seated straight leg raise. And we got a lateral shuffle with a hop. So lateral shuffle with a hop, pretty easy. We're gonna do a little baby hop, and then we're gonna shuffle over, and then a little baby hop, and then shuffle over. Okay, easy. Straight leg lifts, hard. Okay, 2 different ways that you can do this. The closer my chest gets to my knees, the harder this exercise is. So what we'll start with is just kind of hands behind us, chest a little bit behind the line of my hips. Okay, meaning this way. If you want to make it a little harder, you can come this way. But you do need to be pressing into the floor for this. I'll show you 2 different ways. This is the first way. So my knees are locked, my quads are tight. I'm trying to point my toes as hard as I possibly can. And then what I'm going to do from this position, I have a really hard time doing it in this easy position, so I need to do a little harder. I'm going to lift my leg up. I can either go single leg or I can go double leg. So 2 different ways you can do it. You either have hands back in this position, lifting single leg, or steeple, push, and lift either single leg or double. So we're gonna go 2 minutes. For your straight leg lift, give me 10. For your lateral shuffles, give me 5 lateral shuffles each side with the hops. 2 minutes. 3, 2, 1, go. First, let's do. You're right. Anything you actually want to think about how you feel. When you guys are doing these lateral shuffles, I want you to focus on trying to keep your heels above the floor. So as you're shuffling, try to keep heels off the floor on the balls of your feet. When you're doing your straight leg lifts, very important that your knees are locked and your quads are tight. So when you're doing that straight leg lift, it should be like your leg is just a piece of steel. There's no joints in it. It's just this big long piece of steel, no bend in the knee. You should feel that in your, I hesitate to say this, but lower abs and hip flexors. That's where you should feel that exercise. However, it took me about 6 weeks when I first started doing this a couple of years ago to get my heels above the floor. So there is a little bit of a learning curve to these. And as much as possible, point your toes hard. Point those toes hard as much as possible. We got 15 seconds. Remember for today's nice and easy, just kind of going through the movements, familiarizing ourselves with the exercises. So next 2 movements, we got jog in place. It's exactly what it sounds like, just jogging in place. You can go high knees, so if you want to like drive the knees up, touch the hands, or just drive the knees up in general, that's fine. But in the grand scheme of things, just need you kind of jog in place. We're going to superset that exercise with half million chops. And if you've been doing half million chops in our last phase, then you're going to take it to a split squat position. So it looks like this. So half million chops. Left knee on the floor. You're going to hold the weight in between your hands. And you're focusing on moving your chest. Okay, so logo moves. The arms are along the ride. That's the most important thing, is that your chest is moving, the arms are along the ride. If you did them last phase, then you're going to do them in this split stance position. Okay, so basically like a half a split squat. And it's the same idea. So either do them knee down, focusing on moving the chest, or half kneeling, or excuse me, half split squat position. Same idea, focusing on the chest. So we're going to do 2 minutes. For your chops, 7 on each side. For your high knees, 19. These odd numbers go over.
I cannot. Body is one.
All right, guys. 3, 2, 1, go. We doing the lateral stuff.
One,
Wait, you answer. Put it off the wrong day.
Do that foot, a little bit forward.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi. I think you're on like a phone. Oh, right out. Okay. Not last day, one day. Woo, I'm really done.
7. 7 chops. 19 high knees. Remember, for the high knees, stay off the heels. For the half kneeling, I do want both feet straight ahead. So my right foot's pointing this way. My left foot is in that same angle, so try not to go flat foot. Heel off the floor. 30 seconds. And for the jogs, in the grand scheme of things, just getting your feet off the floor. And you got 10 seconds. All right, guys, that is time. That is time. Okay. All right, guys, 4. First, strength. We got RDLs or good mornings, banded or weighted. So like dumbbell or kettlebell. So for the good mornings or for the RDLs, whichever way you want to do it. I want you to imagine that you're standing, that the balls of your feet, so your forefoot, you're standing on a piece of paper. And the idea with this is that whether you do an RDL or a good morning, because it's the same movement, okay, so this is an RDL, this is a good morning, literally the same movement, just depends on where you hold the weight. Whichever one you do, I want you to imagine that somebody's going to pull that piece of paper out from underneath your toes. So I want your weight, not necessarily off of your heels, but I just want you thinking about pushing those toes onto that piece of paper, as though somebody's going to try and pull the piece of paper out from underneath your toes. That should help you feel it more in the back of the legs and the glutes, and less in the lower back. All right. So you can do this with a band. You can also do this with dumbbells. If you want to do an RDL, you're going to grab a hold of the band. Band goes around the feet. Choke low on the band. You're going to push your hips forward. I'm going to drive my hips back, thinking about that piece of paper. Feel a big stretch in the back of the legs, and then back up. Good morning is band goes around the shoulders. So basically, if the RDL is too easy, your band isn't strong enough. Band goes around the shoulders, and it's the exact same motion. Same idea with the piece of paper. Right? Now you could use a band for this, you could also use dumbbells or kettlebell. Second exercise is Zottman curls. So you're going to curl up, palms up, then you're going to reverse, palms down. That is Zottman curls. 6 minutes.
Doesn't have a file.
Do both things. So 6 minutes
They are still.
for your RDLs, good mornings. Be 17 and 19 reps, or go to 18 for your stopping curls. Same idea. Up to 25 for both of those. I was just kidding. Up to 25 reps for both of them. For the RDLs and good mornings, you should not feel it in your lower back. Feet wide. Okay, so. Alright, so here's what I want you to think. So you're gonna kind of push your toes into the floor. And you're gonna push your butt back, like you're trying to touch your toes, but you can't bend through your spine. And then you come back. Yeah. Where you should feel it back of it. Okay, good. Maybe up to 25. For the, whether you're doing good mornings or whether you're doing RDLs, should feel it back of the legs. If you feel it in your lower back, please let me know. So I can give you some coaching cues. A lot of times if you're feeling your lower back, just kind of focusing more on pushing the toes into the floor should take away that lower back tension. After your RDLs, good mornings, you should. We got our zopping curls.
Like,
1,200 pounds. Supposed to be 15, but. Guiding for the curls, very important. My elbows stay close to my torso the entire time. As much as possible, try not to let your elbows come away from your torso. So as much as possible, keep those elbows close to torso. Up to 25. And then we're back to our good mornings, RDLs. We got 6 minutes. We are. Somebody forgot to start the timer. Is that the second one you got?
We're at 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
My man at home. 3 minutes, all right, so you gotta let me know when 6 minutes are up. I appreciate that, thank you so much.
we're halfway done.
Yeah, you're about halfway done. Actually, probably more than halfway done.
Now we are.
It's okay, nobody feel the lower back? Good, very good.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, good.
So, talking to me a little time. So you're having your knees pop. Okay, I want you to just bend the knees a little bit. I don't know if that feels good. Gang, one other thing for the RDLs in the good mornings, this is kind of like a. You have to feel good doing this movement in order to be able to differentiate between the two. You can either do them with locked knees. And I mean literally locked knees. Or soft knees. If you do them locked knees, you will go down a much lower, your range of motion is much shorter. You're not gonna use as much weight, but you're gonna feel a lot more in the hamstrings. If you bend the knees a little bit, you're gonna be able to use a little bit more weight. You're gonna be able to go through a little bit more of a range of motion, bigger range of motion. Potentially not feel as much in the hamstrings. 1 minute.
What's the deal then?
Well, you should feel in the hamstrings.
Okay.
And so Stephen asked where it should be feeling. You should feel in the hamstrings. And once you're feeling in the hamstrings and you're doing it with soft knees, and you're like, okay, I got that. My knees are soft, my knees are bent a little bit. I really feel the hamstrings. Try doing it with straight knees. And see if one feels better than the other. Is that it? Is that 6 minutes?
That was a halfway mark, 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Good morning.
Halfway mark.
Don't worry, gang. I'll keep. 20 seconds.
I've been fired.
You did good though. You saved my ass.
Yeah.
10 seconds. Finish whatever you're doing. Rusty rest. Time. Time. Okay. Next two strength exercises. Lean in. Side delt raises. I'm gonna show those first. And then we got our drop set lateral squat. You'll be on the bench. Or we're doing that lean forward. So lean in side delt raise looks like this. To find a wall, you're gonna lean into that wall. You need to make sure that you're leaning in enough to where if somebody were to move the wall, you fall over. So you really are leaning in, okay? You can also do it where you're just leaning your shoulder against the wall versus stretched arm, that's fine. Just make sure that your angle is inclined enough so that you really feel like, you know, the wall's holding you up. So you're gonna grab a dumbbell in your opposite hand, you're gonna go up as high as you feel comfortable, and then back down. This is gonna put a lot of tension on the delt. So I would actually go maybe just a pinch lighter than what you would typically do, okay? Like 5s or 8s for the ladies, 8 or 10 for the fellas, maybe even 5 for the fellas. So that's the first exercise. That should be okay.
Yeah, they find one thing, I'm not sure about the other one.
Second exercise, our lateral squat drop set. So, legs are wide, legs are about hip width, or excuse me, shoulder width apart. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna touch the floor 8 to 10 times first. Now, if in the process of you touching the floor, you're like, oh man, I really feel on my lower back, then just go about mid shin. Okay, so anywhere between mid shin to all the way down, that's what we're looking for. So at least mid shin, if you can go all the way down, great. That's the first movement. So 8 to 10, mid shin or to the floor. Then you're gonna hold weights at pelvis level, so either a dumbbell in each hand or one dumbbell in both hands. And we're doing that same motion. 8 to 10, about mid shin level. Then I bring the weight up top and I hit that same thing, 8 to 10. Okay, then I switch sides. So we're gonna go same thing, 6 minutes. My timer. Up to for your lean inside delt raise, it's 10 with a 4-second negative on the down. So slow on the down, 4 seconds on the down. For the lateral squats, 8 to 10 in each one of those 3 positions. 3, 2, 1, go. 6 minutes. Same thing, do that same thing. So what you could do. That thing. Or just stand up.
Okay, that way.
Yeah, okay. 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 Okay, when you're doing those lateral squats. If I go to my right side, I'm thinking about pushing my butt back. I'm thinking about having as much as possible vertical shin. If you have knee issues, I really want you focusing on that vertical shin. If the knee feels fine, you can let the knee come over top of the toes as much as you feel comfortable. Ideally, for the lateral squats, glutes should be like 70% glutes, be 20 or 30% quads, and 10% in your soul. So you should feel that 10% in your soul. Okay, so for you.
Well, I'm not sold.
It's. If you eat all of these, that's all your glutes.
Oh,
Yes. You see the glutes?
Glutes.
Stay like this, okay? So watch what I do. I'm gonna keep my chest pointing straight ahead and I'm gonna slide my hips over. I'm gonna go to the other side. Okay, so I want you thinking about chest straight ahead, and you're thinking about kind of sliding your hips over onto each leg. And push your butt back as far as you can. That feel better? Yeah. Try not to bend forward. Hip back. So your hips can go back, right? The head coming down would be like this. So try not to do this, okay? And you're gonna do each 20 each side. Okay. This one might actually go. We're at about 4 minutes now. We might go 7 or 8 minutes. We have 2 unilateral exercises in this circuit. I would like for you guys to get 2 rounds done on each. So 2 sets of lateral squats and 2 sets of side delt raises, but see how that works out. Okay. No knee pain, right? Good. No lower back pain. Good. Hamstring pain. Yeah. You might be a little sore tomorrow. I'm sorry. Then your second set
yes,
of the lunges,
yes,
so this would be your second set of your side delts.
yes.
Carrie, is your second set of side delts?
Yeah.
Side delts. How many lunges do you do? 2 minutes, gang. Nice and slow on that side dog raise. 4 second negative, 4 second on the down. Nice and slow on the down. Up as high as you feel comfortable. Guys, you got 1 minute. I think we were supposed to like get just a little time. Yeah.
They're not till 9, I think, what?
Pretty good.
Not till 9.
Um,
Something wrong.
Sometimes.
You want to see a show, it'd be a little sketchy for that, I mean, no.
20 seconds. No, it's show.
Just that one? I mean, curfew.
That's great.
Congratulations, on.
Thanks, but not quite there yet.
5 seconds.
To go.
It's what I did today.
5 seconds, guys.
Put in my retirement.
That is time.
Big stuff, man.
That is time. Resty rest gang. We got 1 more strength series. We get kind of a funky exercise to start with, so. Actually, we'll start with that. So. For the lower body. We're gonna keep those low walking lunges in. So. You're gonna take a step forward. So you're gonna be in a kind of like a forward lunge position. You're only going to come up enough to be able to slide your other leg underneath of you and then go back into that lunge position. Okay, so I want you to stay as low as possible while you're doing those walking lunges. If you want to make them a little bit easier, you can just do them walking lunge style, meaning you just take a big step forward, lightly touch the knee, come all the way up, big step forward, that's fine. The other way that you can do them is alternating forward lunges. So alternating forward lunges is I take a step forward, light touch the knee, step back, take a step forward, light touch the knee, step back. So any of those are totally fine. Second exercise, side down raises. Delts are made in the winter, just like glutes. So this is just regular up and down. Okay, regular up and down side down raises. Third exercise. Half kneeling or seated bicep curl. This is like very classic bicep exercise called a concentration curl. So I'm gonna hold a dumbbell in one hand. I'm gonna place my elbow against the inside of my knee. And I'm gonna do bicep curls. Okay, what I'm looking for is a big stretch. So the idea with the elbow against the knee is that's the fulcrum that I'm moving over, under, whatever. But big stretch at the bottom. If you don't have a bench to sit on, or if you don't feel like sitting on a bench, then you do the exact same thing, except you're gonna do it in a half kneeling position. Same idea. Okay, same idea. So this is going to be 8 to 9 minutes. First exercise is going to be your low walking lunges or alternating forward lunges. Give me up to 20 on each side. 3, 2, 1, go. How do you start with your side belt raises?
Wait,
And so just seated for you, raise it up and down.
how much?
I'll probably go. Okay, let's go with what you did with the last.
Like, 5 was last.
So up to 20. And then we have our side delt raises, just taking them up and down. Remember for that bicep curl, big stretch on the bottom, for those of you that have done preacher curls before. This is very similar to a preacher curl, it's very similar idea. So big stretch when that arm is extended, big stretch down the bicep. Make sure that in that big stretch position, make sure you're not trying to curl the weight up too fast. Anything? Just give me a little position. Okay. All I want you thinking is just lightly touching the knee to the floor. And then come back up. Yep, just give me one side, light touch the knee, I want you to hold on to this for stability, okay? But light touch the knee, stand back up, be like 10 to 15, just like that, 10 to 15 each side. And I want you to keep your front heel down. Yeah, your left heel down. Yeah. Yes. Work on it. You can take your legs a little bit wider, a little bit longer. That feels more comfortable. You can also. And I want you to take a light touch. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Just like that. And don't worry about touching this heel to the floor. So in other words, it can look like, see my back heel? So it could be like this. Okay? Talk to me a week here. That's your fun. That's not what cacophony means.
Like loud sound, dead notes for the. coffee thing or-
Let's do.
Feel it, I'm just working there.
I will.
Ready, Vaughn?
Yeah.
Well, I think about what we were doing, we need to. Get one of the one down in the view. The lateral blocks, then build it, right?
Yeah.
As soon as you get to the 10 to 15 side, you're gonna do these. Okay.
What do you carry with you first?
Well, I leave quads, but I don't think we're gonna do it, so let's do elevated. So if you beat elevated. Looking for 2 rounds, gang. 2 rounds. So up to 20. Up to 20 doesn't mean do 20. That literally means.
That was a minimum.
Okay. I know, so just think, if I say up to 20, okay, up to 25. Or 10 to 15, that means I want you to do somewhere between 10 and 15. So if you get 12, great, 14, great, 15, that's great too, okay? So if I say up to 20, that means that in the grand scheme of things, if you get to 20, that means I want you to make that weight harder. So let's say you get to 15, okay, cool, that's good enough. Next time try and get a little bit, or a little bit more. Three minutes, guys. 3 minutes.
Look at stretching your bicep.
How do you stretch your bicep?
Stretch.
So,
How do you feel anyhow? I did have you weight first.
in there. What about you?
Leaning.
Yes, yeah, like so. Good, good. Knee
Ah,
there,
okay.
yeah, and then hit that curl. And then think about taking, so basically the stretch is happening because you're pushing the elbow straight by the leg.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
So a little more.
Yeah.
And then you can you can play around with taking the elbow, so it's this way and relative to the bone. Or this way relative to the bone, so that will change things a little bit,
Yeah. you can-
but it's like kind of like leaning.
Okay, cool, thank you. There's a finisher, I'm assuming.
Yes. Gang, we got about 90 seconds. Fifteen seconds, guys. Oh, excuse me. 1 minute. My bad. 1 minute, 1 minute. Sorry, 9 minutes total. We're at 8 minutes. 1 more minute. For the finisher, we're gonna do some tries and core for the finisher.
Bring it out.
Right?
Like line. Put that kind of-
At the pickle barrel, pickle barrel,
Yeah. That's what I'm- So, you want to
20 seconds.
I'd rather go there.
Yes.
Always.
Can be.
Gross.
5 seconds, gang. Finish whatever you're doing. That is time. Resty rest. For the finisher. Ladies. 10-pound dumbbell. Fellas. 15 or 20. So fellas, 15 or 20-pound dumbbell, ladies, 10-pound.
This one here. All right. Nick, you want to get that one? No, okay, no. Are you sure? Thank you. I made them my language, you know, ready.
All right, gang. So here's how it's gonna go. Legs are straight. So. First thing we're gonna do is 5 flies. So I'm gonna grab a hold of my dumbbell. I'm gonna, so my dumbbell's in my right hand. My left hand goes to my pec, okay, and I'm just gonna bring the dumbbell out. And then bring it back up. Okay, now I'm trying to keep that muscle tight the whole time, so just coming out to the side. And then bring it back up, so we're gonna do 5 of those. Then what we're gonna do. Is we're gonna do 10 floor presses, so single arm floor press. Okay, so we got 5 flies. We got 10 single arm floor presses. Then I'm gonna sit up, so I'm gonna do a reach and curl. So I straighten my arm, I sit all the way up, and we do as many presses from this position as I can. Now, for some of you, it might feel better to go into straddle position. Straddle position just means take your leg a little bit wide. Right, so if you feel like you're like this, with your legs straight ahead, then try and go a little more into straddle or to like a spread position. And do your presses there. Let me switch sides. Come back down. I'm gonna do 5 flies. I'm gonna do 10 presses. If you do 10, you're like, man, that was really, really easy. Do more. Right? So 10 presses, then you're gonna do a reach and curl, and you're gonna press it above your head as many times as you can, and back down, switch sides. So we're gonna go 3 minutes. Yeah, round 2 rounds each side. 3 minutes. All right, guys. 3, 2, 1, go. So flies first. 5 flies, nice and slow on the out. Have that arm straight. Okay, and bring it up. Again, to make your fly a little bit easier, bend the elbow. So straighter the elbow is, harder the fly is going to be. The more the elbow is bent, easier the fly is going to be. Totally fine to put your hand back behind you for a little bit of balance. Put 5 flies each side, and then 10 floor presses. Or more. If you do 10, you're like, oh my gosh, that's way too easy. All one side first. 10 of those. Okay. Then you're going to sit up. And you're going to press it above your head. Just hopefully what the hair. So you're going to well, you do it to sit up. Just like that. Kind of fast. As many as you can. 90 seconds. Should be 2 rounds. Yeah.
Minute, 2 rounds.
2 rounds. 2 rounds for your. One minute to go. Bet you are. I feel like qualifying for like food group.
What?
Food group.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not actually talking through it. I'm sure I get accused of it on the regular.
Okay. Well, there's no fun in that. 30 seconds.
I mean, I am ready to start pulling out. I could be your much.
The Cougar Barrel on Thursday night, and yeah, that should be called the Cougar Barrel actually.
Yeah.
10 seconds. Oh, really?
If I go back to be my age.
5 seconds, guys. Again, that is tough. Yes, you're tough. Rest to rest. Good job, gang. Fabulous, great job. Virtual high fives.
Yeah, man.
Good job, guys.
Thanks.
You guys have a great weekend.
You too.
Too.
We'll see you next week.
All right, sounds good.